What's up, everybody? This is Samuel welcoming you to this week's episode of Music in the Minor League. Today we are talking with Arta Salehi of Quinn the Brain, who, if you've never heard, is a great rock and roll band from here in Houston. People say alt rock, like heavier punk. It's good, and you're going to hear it, and hopefully you'll like it as much as we do. Before we get to that conversation, though, like always, we got some housekeeping to get out of the way. First off, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the pod. Tell your friends about it. It's the best way to keep this going and to give the artists we talk to the exposure they deserve. Second, if you like the bands and the music we discuss, please go check the bands out on your streaming service of choice. Follow them, tell friends about them, go to their shows, do anything you can to support them because it really does help out. And if you show up to their shows and you follow them online, it's a good way to reach new venues and open new avenues in the music world. Finally, if you're interested in seeing us in Brightwire, we've got a few shows coming up. March 11th, we'll be at Union Tavern with Grifters and Shills, Matt Woods, and Sean Holcomb. We're really excited for this one. Matt Woods is a good friend of ours from Nashville, Tennessee, and man, just a great dude. We play with him multiple times over the year. It's always a good time. He's a killer singer-songwriter. On March 17th, we'll be at So Far Sounds, Garden Oaks. We don't know the location. They don't tell you till you get pretty close to the event. If you'd like a ticket, visit our website or go to sofarsounds.com. It should be a fun show. On the 25th of March, we'll be at Fredonia Brewing Company in Nacogdoches. It'll be all us all night, 6 to 9. It's rare we do those 3-hour shows, but we're looking forward to doing this. We've never been to Nacogdoches before, so we'll play pretty much everything we have, and hopefully someone up there will come out and see the show. We look forward to being there. Finally, in April, we're going to be doing a tour with Grifters and Shills, just 4 dates, but we're going to be going up to Tulsa, Oklahoma to play the Hunt Club on April 13th. We'll be playing the Brick in Kansas City on April 14th, and also on that show will be Johnny Lawhorn of Pentagram String Band. That's going to be a lot of fun. April 15th, we'll be at AM/PM Bar in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And on April 16th, we'll be at Frankie's OKC with Grifters and Shills, Griffin Wade, and Rachel Lynch. That's going to be a lot of fun, too. We're really looking forward to seeing everybody and hanging out. And finally, we'll be at Ronnie's Ice House April 22nd, which is the EquiSearch benefit that they put on every year. And we're always grateful to be a part of that. It's a good cause, and we're happy to help. Now that we're done running through and selling you all of our stuff, we're going to kick the thing off with Quinn the Brain's song Open Wide. Here we go.
Surprise! Yeah!
right, man. Well, welcome to another episode. We're here with Arta Salehi from Quinn the Brain. Many years ago, we went to way before the before times. We went out to see our friends in Brannigan play at Dan Electro's, and then Faye was the headliner. And, there's always that middle band you have to sit through between your friend's band and that, and you're always just kind of like, oh, cool, here's this band I don't know, and I'll sit through the 45 minutes. And on this night, it was Quinn the Brain, and they came out, and they just fucking rocked. And so when we started this podcast, one of the main people I wanted to talk to was Arta. And thank you for coming in today.
No, thank you for having me. It's awesome.
So, like we start off every time, man. Important thing is, you're still out doing it. You're playing music. I didn't realize till we started looking at it. Y'all been around since like 2016, so it's been a while.
Yeah, I think we came out onto the scene in 2017, but we did start in 2016.
And you're a three-piece?
Yeah, we've always been a three-piece.
Drummer and a bassist, and you play guitar?
Yep.
Have you had any lineup changes, or is it just the same?
Oh, no, it's been tons of lineup changes. As it goes,
Yeah.
Unless you're related, there's always a lineup change.
Yeah. I mean, priorities change. People want to go different directions, things of that nature. So over the times or over the years, I've gone through a handful of bass players. And, right now we're in the midst of getting a new drummer. So.
Oh, man, so I was just about to say that. I was like, oh, man, your drummer's been there since day. Everything you see of y'all, it's always you and the drummer. So.
Yeah, it was. It was for all the way up until I think last year. And then, next chapter.
Yeah, I think the
happens.
pandemic changed things for a lot of musicians.
It really did. It really did. Everybody kind of took a, check back on their lives to see what's important. And, everyone had, I guess, certain things. And my thing is the band. So.
Yeah. Plus, 6 years, it's most people don't stay in jobs, relationships, things like that. 6 years is a long time for anything.
Yeah. I like to think we grew in that time, right? So we kind of I want to say found our sound. I feel like we're still working on that, but we've really grown. We recorded a first EP that is no longer available. And when I listen back, I'm like, wow, it's so young and so bad. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the joy of it, because you listen to those first records, you're like, oh. And it's great because you're like, okay, at least I'm growing. It gives that kind of where you don't ever feel like it as you're living day to day, but it's good to have those moments to look back and man, we're doing it, we're getting way better.
100%. I always see that when I see older videos. I'm just I cringe, but then I'm like, it's cool because you don't do that anymore, so it's okay.
Yeah. And, it's that necessary step to where you are now.
Pretty much, yeah.
So speaking of necessary steps, so I guess at what age did you start playing music?
I was pretty late in the game. So I didn't start until I was in college or right after. So it was pretty much around that time period. I was kind of messing around. It was something I always wanted to do since high school, but I always thought I didn't have the talents. I was oh, you're born with it. I literally thought people were born with certain gifts. Oh, wow. That if you did not come out the womb playing music, you were not meant to be, because no one ever explained that to me.
You haven't hung out with us then.
Well, I used to feel that way about singing, where I was I could never really do it, even though I had to sing in all these bands. I was well, just something I just don't have. I'll never have it. And then, you're around enough people that are better. It's oh, okay, I'm starting to do this.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Yeah,
it's you start realizing it. So after being in the scene for years and years, I was going to shows since I was 15. I kept singing and hanging out with bands. And finally I was anyone can do this. And that's when it kind of dawned on me. Yeah. I was okay, you can do this. Just learn. I mean, no offense to most people. I was a lot of musicians are, not the brightest people. So if they can do it, then why can't you? Kind of situation.
So that's what I was wondering, if you wanted to name the person who was if he can do it. No.
Throw a little shade in here.
No.
There he was. I was this moron can play. I can do this.
No, it's just a generalization. You know what I mean?
I'm just teasing.
There is not person particular in mind.
No, but it is. You start seeing it's these are just regular people showing up and just getting together and playing and jamming, and it's turns into something.
Pretty much.
Well, and I think we had talked to Scotty Frazier, and he was talking about, for him, that was the Ramones, realizing oh, that's simple. Oh, not everything is super complicated. I can start here and get better.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, especially guys, they will kind of make it sound like it's harder than it is, right? Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to know this solo, you have to know that. And then after I got into certain bands, like Babes in Toyland, I started realizing I was you don't need a solo.
No.
In fact, you don't even need a chorus if you really don't want one. You can do anything.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
And that's the thing. You do something that's different than everybody else. So, yeah. That's always deal. I'm a big fan of the Melvins and stuff, and Buzz Osborne's always big on that. You just start playing.
Yeah.
Like you said, you should give kids guitars tuned to open E when they start playing, just so they can instantly play like chords and riffs without having to go, well, first you have to do this really awkward hand shape that hurt terribly.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you just do this and that's it. And you're playing a song, and then you can kind of start creating and make it more difficult for yourself as you go on.
That's true, because the beginning part is always like the weirdest part, right? Like you go from I can't play and this is difficult, and then one day you can, and it just happens to the point where you don't even notice the transition.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you ask me, hey, when did you? I'm like, I don't know. I just remember trying, and then one day it worked, and that was basically it.
So what did you first learn on?
I had and I still have it, my Epiphone SG. My sister had bought me a pawn shop guitar that was like $100 for Christmas. I'd wanted it. And she bought it for me like years ago, and it just kind of sat in my room for like a year or two, just staring me in the face, you know?
So here's a question about the SG. Does it have a cracked headstock like every SG I've ever seen in my life?
What do you mean?
So there's a problem with the way it's designed. It's the pitch of the angle of the head that inevitably they crack right where it pitches back. And like I want to say like Chad Grizzly had one.
As long as you take care of them and you don't drop them.
That's the difference. All right, cool. I was just wondering because like everyone I'd always pick one like
You guys don't take care of your stuff.
So that's a
I'm just saying.
Gibson issue period, because inevitably you sit a guitar against a desk or something. You know, you're like, I'm going to go grab a soda, dude. I'm just going to sit it here. And some cat runs by or dog and it falls over and that headstock hits, it just goes.
yeah, it's you can either you can drop a fender.
So you
all
take
day.
care of your instrument, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
I
a
don't-
careful
come
person.
on.
That's good.
Well, I mean,
She's mature. Well, I'm like
Yeah.
the rest of
you
us.
have to have a stand. Like,
Come on.
I literally go to shows with like one or two stands. I can't, when I see people putting it against their amp, I'm just like, you're asking for it. Like, you kind of are. And when it breaks, it's your fault.
That's very, very true.
That's why she's still playing the same guitar.
Right. So I'm seeing a connection, like the causation and correlations.
Yeah, if you're using anything Gibson Epiphone, you want to have a stand.
So we're not getting that Gibson
Fender
endorsement
stuff
anytime
falls
soon.
over. Fender stuff falls over its straight neck. It's not going to snap off. It's fine.
Built to last.
People pay money to get the kind of wear and tear that comes from falling over on stage. But
So Fender, if you're listening,
road worn. But was Quinn the Brain your first band? I mean, did you start out playing with anyone else, or did you just go straight to like, this is my band, this is what I'm doing?
There was other variations of Quinn. I had the same songs, like, and I started off with all girls. So, you know, I found a bunch of girls I wanted to play with, and it was really difficult. The band, it wasn't even like a real band. It was more like I wanted to play one show for Halloween, and I only want to do Halloween songs. It wasn't even like original songs, and I thought it'd be kind of fun. And it was very dramatic. It was too hard, and I ended up like disbanding the band. Then I started another band, like a real original band with my friend Haleen, who ended up being in the Imposter Boys, were starting it. So we started the band together, and then she went her own way, and then I started bringing in an influx of musicians until finally I kind of built Quinn the Brain just from trying. It was like literally years of lineups until it finally stuck.
Right on. So when you started playing, was the goal initially to write songs and have your band, or were you just like, I'm going to learn to play guitar and join them? Always interested.
I was doing baby steps. So I was like, it'd be cool if I could play. Like, and then after I could, I was like, it'd be cool if I had a band. And then after that, I'd be like, it'd be cool if we could play shows. It just was like, every time I would hit the next level, I'd be like, okay, what's next? So it was always like that. So it never felt too overwhelming in the beginning because I didn't even think I could, to be honest.
right.
I was always like, it was always like a far off dream. Like, we'll get there, I guess.
I just wonder like how quick the songwriting aspect hit you. Was it pretty early on, or were you just like, are we just doing covers, you know?
I suck at covers. I can never finish a cover to save my life. I get bored. Like, I just can't. I'm not one of those people. Like, I just can't. And I went in the beginning, I went and got like guitar lessons because I tried to do the YouTube thing, and
Yep.
it was annoying. I was like, you know what? I need like a professional to show me the ropes. And he did, and it was amazing. But after a while, I could never even finish the covers he wanted me to do. And there were songs I liked. I just like lost interest, but I would always write my own. So I just
Yeah.
sit there, and with what the little knowledge I had, I would just, you know, churn out some songs. And I found it really fun.
Because normally you can tell people who kind of get, I guess, more attached to playing pretty quickly transition to, like, I'm making something that's mine. I think it helps you be more attached and more motivated to learning to play. When I was little, you know, it was like the same thing. I never had the patience or the attention span to, here's exactly how this song goes. They'd be like, oh, cool, I can steal this riff and make this. And it was like there, which would just be jun, 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 jun. But, you know, still, it's like you're doing that. So that's always my big thing. I like to see how quickly people transition to, like, I'm making my own songs and doing this.
Yeah, I think that was a big part.
So the next thing is, you know, see, y'all are recording some songs. Are y'all doing them just singles, or are y'all doing them, working on a full album?
Not a full album. So originally when the band started, I mean, we've been sitting on a million songs, if what it feels like. And over the years and through the various lineups, I started, songs that I thought were strong are now kind of, I'm like, they're not that great. And, you're growing up. So you're just like, oh. Right. So I'm just recording all the songs that I think are worthy of a record. Is that a word? But you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like that's not the right inflection, but you get it. Worthy of recording. And so we're just basically recording the last few songs from what I consider the old era, the beginning era, so I'm letting go of a lot of songs, and then I want to start like a whole new phase, like after this gets done. So we're recording one more after this, and it's going to come out on EP. That's the plan.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of like compilation style, kind of, because all the songs are recorded in different studios.
Oh,
and
cool.
at that point, it's because we were recording in Austin, but it just got difficult going back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm exhausted. I've been doing it way too long. So I finally brought it to Houston, and then got, a friend of ours to hook it up with this, awesome like studio space. And it's kind of hard though, because studios are expensive. So I can't just record with anybody. It has to be somebody who I can who is within my budget. And that's a thing. And I don't do per hour because I just tend to freak out. So I like flat rates, and not a lot of people do flat rates.
Right.
So, and that's the thing. So anyways, an EP will be coming out, I'm hoping by summer is the goal.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
So, yeah, I think it'll be 4 songs. And one of them, everyone's already heard. I already released Bad Friend because I was like, you know what? We haven't released anything in a long time. Like, let's just throw one out there.
Yeah, that song was great. I like the production of it. I like kind of like the AC/DC kind of like, friend in the background stuff. That was kind of cool. There's some good touches on that. So y'all are doing your time in the studio great. Like, you're making the songs sound good.
Yeah, I'm trying. I feel like it's just every time you get better, right?
Yeah. Well, especially, and if y'all do the stuff where you show up and just get to work and do your things there, the flat rate comes a lot easier. Unless you're the people who are just like, oh, cool, man, I'm going to go eat my lunch and
back in an hour.
Smoke a pack of cigarettes outside, and
yeah.
we'll come back to that in a minute. So, y'all seem pretty with the updates, like y'all are just kind of moving through, like today we're doing this, tomorrow we're doing this, today we're doing this.
Oh yeah, we're like super professional to a point where some bands look at us and they're like, really? And we're just like, yeah, we don't mess around a lot. Like when we brought in some musicians to fill in, because we had a fill-in drummer for this last song, and everybody was shocked that we do not drink during practice, we don't smoke during practice, we practice, because that's what it's for, right?
Right.
But apparently most musicians think it's party time. So there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to do that, that's totally cool, just not in our band. So
listen to that, drummers. If you're looking for a band and you like to drink at your practices, don't call Quinn the
well, I mean, you can do it on your own time. It's fine. It's, how are you going to get far? How are you going to write stuff? How are you going to get to the next level if you're too busy partying? That's what shows are for.
I think that's smart. I mean, most of the most successful bands I've been in are bands that knew that practice time was there for a reason.
Yeah, that's literally, it's in the word, practice.
I think too many bands, they practice so often that practice no longer becomes what it's supposed to be, and it becomes their social time. And it's like, look,
that's so true.
Time is money, guys, and I like you. I'm in a band with you, but hey, we're here to work and grind things out. So.
Well, I mean, if we practiced every day, that'd be a different story.
Right.
But that doesn't happen.
No. Lining up schedules is a pain in the ass.
Yes, the more members, the harder it gets.
So that's why she stays with 3.
No, that's actually the reason. Yeah, because adding in more is I already think 3 is really hard, and I'm one of the 3. So I just and it's been a thought in my mind for the longest time. I was like, should we add in a second guitar player? Should we? And I was like, no. That's more people to delegate and help. It sounds like a lot.
It's
maybe
more
one day.
Opinions is what it really is.
Yeah.
But your sound is big enough. You don't need it.
No, we don't need it. I mean, maybe one day if we get to a point where we feel like it, sure. But for now, I think 3 is fine.
Yeah, no, it's really solid at 3. I think that's a solid approach.
Thank you.
If you had some scorching lead, what this song really needs is some scorching leads. It's
but it's got some killer riffs.
I'm trying to think of other niche phrases to say, But.
No, it's true. I mean, we've been putting in more leads on stuff, but that's easy. You just do a rhythm track and then just lead live. It's not going to break you.
Yeah. Summer, that was the thing. Me and Nathan, you probably don't remember this. You probably have idiots run up all the time, but we were both just is it a 625 or a 630? Your Rickenbacker?
Oh, I think it's a 640.
Okay, 640. I was getting there. I think we said,
You're only off by 5.
We said 4 something the first time, and she was like, no. It's Ed told us what it was. We were just like, dude, it's like a Rickenbacker and a Marshall, and it sounds heavy. We were just like, that's amazing. Most Rickenbacker stuff. I have mine. It's bass all the way up, turn all the treble off, and still jangly. And I was like, dude, it's heavy. That was great. So we were all just like, What are you doing to make your guitar sound like that? Like, that sounds great.
Yeah, no, and I know what you mean. Because with certain amps, it does sound really like I tried it with my Gibson Gold Tone. It sounded like a toy.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would describe it, a toy. And I hated it. I was like, oh, this sounds like garbage. Like, and then I got the Marshall, and I was like, this is perfect. Like the Rickenbacker really shines with the Marshall. Unfortunately, my Rick is broken right now and has been for a while. So I've been playing the Fender and the SG and kind of just like working. I need to get it fixed. I've just been lazy, let's be real. And they're expensive. Rickenbackers are like the luxury cars of the guitar world.
Yeah.
So you can't just go buy a piece. You have to order it.
Gotta order it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the. I mean, I got one. That was always the. Do I have a 24-month payment plan to get my Rick back? And when I sold when I had kids, I was like, I always want another one. I want another one. And then I was like, oh great, it's on sale, and I can get 48 months, no interest.
That's pretty much what I did. My Rickenbacker was super affordable, and I paid it off with a credit card because I don't have money, and that's what people do. Like,
Apparently, that's the American dream.
100%. I had somebody ask me that before, like, oh, some guy at a show was like, must be nice to have a Rickenbacker, kind of implying that I had money. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I have less money than you, but I know how to save and I know how to use a credit card. So,
Right.
It's fine.
Tools.
Yeah.
I have a job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really not that hard. You just prioritize, what's important, what's not.
Exactly.
So, when you went to school for marketing and you have your own personal marketing site that you're doing to help people, how's that helped with the band, like push things out? Because I know y'all actually done like a lot of shows in San Francisco and y'all done some touring and things. Does it help you to have that knowledge, kind of DIY? You get to actually control the image of the band, kind of, you actually know how to market things.
Yeah, I feel like everyone has the power to market and do their own image, right? That's what social media is for, which I really like that aspect. It's no longer like you have to go through a label who puts, spins your story. You spin your own story, which
Right.
I'm a big fan of. But I went to college for PR because back in the day, I thought my dream was to be an A&R person. That's what I thought I wanted to do. And then I worked with a band who was so awful that I literally was like, I never want to do this again. So
Are they a big band?
No. It was more of a solo person, like a solo artist, but, pretentious, all the things really put me off. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to work with bands because, it's all, I think you know what I mean.
Yes.
So I ended up, when I graduated, I ended up falling into marketing. It wasn't even on purpose, but PR and marketing go hand in hand. They're
Right.
almost the same thing. They're not, but they're almost. And so for the past 8 years, I've been working in marketing for different various companies. And during that time, I was learning to play guitar on the side. So I was doing the corporate business thing, 8 to 5.
wow.
And then on the side, when I got home, I'd be learning and playing and meeting up with people and doing stuff. And then over time, it kind of grew together. So you're right. As I was learning marketing, it not only applied for my work, but applied for the band. So I was like, cool, I could do this for this and this and this. A lot of it's DIY though. I didn't learn any of this stuff in college. I learned it at
Right.
work, on the spot, as I went. It literally is no different than someone going online and YouTubing stuff. It's literally the same thing. It's just that, I spent the time doing it, and that's it. So, yeah, it does help.
Well, it helps great. Like you said, you worked with someone who showed you how not to behave as a musician. You start picking up all these things on your own. So it kind of shows you if I'm given the ability or the time, I can pick up most anything, which I think is really important, especially these days doing anything music related is you have to go, I can be everything that I need to be for this. And you have to have that motivational, internal motivation to I can do this. I don't need people to tell me what to do, when to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. It's that and confidence, believing in yourself, because everyone's going to shit on you. Wait, can I say that?
No,
Okay.
Oh, great. Now we're going to edit it out. Gee, you just made his
I'm pretty
life
sure I
so...
said fucking rock.
Yeah, you
Okay,
did.
I wasn't
We're good.
sure. I should have
Can
asked.
confirm.
No, it is a thing. So it's just kind of you have to have thick skin, and it's going to get thicker and thicker as you go, right? So
Well, that's the fun. Everybody's going to hate everything somebody does, and there's always going to be some people. So once you accept that there's going to be people that just isn't for.
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm 100% okay with that. Sometimes we'll get trolls, and they'll troll around and say stuff, and I'm just like, cool.
I see sometimes going through all this stuff, watching through YouTube comments, I'd see you'd engage people who were kind of said shitty comments. You'd be like, dude, thanks. I didn't really think about it that way, but okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, my thing is I'm going to be nice because I'm not an asshole. I was like, you can be snidey and whatever. That's cool. I know where you're coming from and I get it. But if I give in and be negative like you, it starts a war, then it looks stupid. But if I'm nice, it kind of kills the troll. And
Yeah.
I've noticed that every time I've had a lot of trolls and it stops them every single time, because then they feel like jerks, because they kind of are. But
Right.
like,
You expose
Part of
them.
it is they want that argument.
No,
they want you to
exactly.
engage and
Yeah.
makes them feel important. Like,
But they'll notice, like, they see me. Yes, we do see you for the jerk you are. Congratulations.
I mean, it's fine. People just have a lot of time on their hands. Like, they should go do their own projects, and then they'll know what it feels like when someone shits on it. So,
Yeah. And I think that's what people don't understand is it takes a lot of guts just to put anything out there these days, because with the advent of the internet, everyone's a critic. You know, everyone has an opinion of everything you do.
Oh,
and,
yes.
and they think their self-importance is, you know, the most important thing out there. And it's like, no, it's really not. I would just be happy to see people are trying to be creative in this world.
yeah, 100%. You know, and it is what it is, kind of thing. I like when people are doing well, because it only inspires me to be better. Because I'm just
Exactly.
like, cool. I hope you do write an amazing song that makes me mad and makes me want to write an amazing song. Because it's
Right.
like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, you suck. Like, no, I'm gonna be like, all right, let me see if I can up that.
On the flip side, if that person was to become successful, I'd be the first to be like, dude, that's badass.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, you suck. You know, because you talk shit about me that one time on that one thing. I'm holding on to this grudge.
and I always try to sound very nice about things. Like, there are times I get jealous of people we do and they do stuff, but I always take it. But then it's like you let that initial thing wash over, and it's like good, because now I'm like, I have to go home and try harder.
Right, no,
Because these
it's
people that are our
definitely-
peers.
Yeah,
it's a
do this, and
motivator,
it's
man.
Like, it's like, man, they're kicking that much. How come I'm not? And then
What am I not doing right? I need to
well,
get
maybe
in
I
there.
need to spend more time.
No, I mean, that's the whole, not the point, but I think that's part of the process. You know, you're supposed to influence each other. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of the community. I think sometimes we forget that.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, like the Houston music scene in general needs more of, is that whole, like, we prop each other up, we help each other. And for the longest time, you know, as someone who grew up in Galveston County, you know, when we would play a show inside Houston, it was a big deal for us. But, you know, a lot of the Houston inside loop bands, like, we don't give a shit. You're nobody. And I think that started to change, you know, in the last 10, 15 years. But prior to that, it was very much like inside versus outside. And so I'm glad to see that it's kind of changed, because the only way we're going to get better is as a whole. If you look at successful scenes like in Dallas, you know, in San Antonio, man, San Antonio's scene is crazy, because they're all, you know, pushing for each other to be successful, because if one wins, they all win. And so I think we should get there.
No, I think we're baby stepping our way there, right? I
Yeah.
feel like that existed in Houston in the 90s, and then
Yeah.
it started to like
Yeah.
evaporate. And now I would say the scene it's there, it exists. It's just the camaraderie isn't as there as it used to be. So like for me, I try to go out to see other people's shows when I can, and if I can. It's important to me. Like I think
Yeah.
it's kind of shitty when bands like the only time they go out to a show is their own show. And I'm just kind of like, well, isn't it a community? Aren't you supposed to go and see?
Well, even
other
worse
people?
than that is when you're on a bill with bands and they don't stay and watch all the bands. Like,
Oh, I agree.
it's like, come on, man. Like, look.
You don't have to watch every song.
No.
Like, just be there, watch one song at the bare minimum, and then go hang out in the back and drink,
Yes.
but keep an eye out. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. People notice. I think that's
Yes.
what they think. They think, oh, no one's going to notice. Someone always notices.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go out and support other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're finally getting to the point in Houston where I don't know if it's good or bad that we've lost a lot of venues, but at least they're starting to concentrate around certain
Yeah.
areas. Because like, you know, we like Big Top last night, we had a bunch of people come out from the scene. Black Magic Social Club's good about that, where you go out there and you start seeing bands. And, you know, I mean, I've seen like also a lot of different bands there. I mean, I saw like Chad Price from All's new band, you know, Pentagram String Band play there. It's just like bluegrass. And then you've got like, you know, Doomstress, people like that we've seen out there. So it's good to have these venues where people are starting to kind of hang around, where you start going to the show and you're like, you start saying hi to people because like I've been at 3 shows with you in the last
Yeah.
month. Like, what's up, dude? My name's Sam. Like, you know, hey, I've seen you at like these 3 shows in the last, like, dude, I know, yeah, you see you too, man. What's up?
Yeah.
Do we
I
just
made a
become
lot of
best friends?
Right. it
Yeah.
is.
I made a lot of friends in the scene that way, just by going to shows and just hanging out and just talking to people. It's really easy.
Yeah. And it's good because down, like, people are starting to move, I guess, as things are moving, I guess, south of downtown. You got like the Inn, Trip 6 is coming around.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of the bands kind of making those rounds. So it's been really cool to see that kind of something's coagulating, I guess, a bit, where it's kind of everyone's coming together. So it gives that bit of unity because, you know, in the 90s, you had Fitzgerald's, The Abyss, Mary Jane's, and all of that kind of within this 3-mile radius.
Right.
So it was like, cool, man. All these bands are around there. Everyone's kind of always hanging around there. Because, I mean, we were like the kids that were at Fitzgerald or The Abyss like every weekend. And it was like, I don't care who's playing. Like, we're just going. This is where we
Just go hang out there.
It's like this week's 30 Foot Fall, but next week could be like, you know, like say it's how I saw Joel's old band Rubber. It was just like we were there, you know. It's like, oh no, dude, it's gonna be like a punk band. Occasionally you catch some oldies cover band on accident, but you know, It's only $5. It wasn't.
Didn't cost that much.
If you don't like it, you still got to go out and see it, and you get exposed to something new, and you see the same people, and go to the shows where you sit outside and bullshit with your buddy all night because it's like, well, this isn't really what I like, but okay.
But I'm here.
See, and I didn't grow up in that, but it's really cool to see that as an adult. You know, to see that in Houston, that was one of the first things I noticed was that people stay and watch other bands.
Yeah.
As you should.
You know,
Yeah.
And that's not something I ever even thought about as a musician because I didn't actually join a band until I was in my 40s. So I don't know the etiquette. I didn't know any of it. But Houston has impressed me. Like,
That's true. A lot of it is stuff that you have to like, how would you know if no one told you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like
Right.
I lucked out because I just hung out with musicians for like 10 years before I
Yeah.
started a band. So I picked up all the etiquette
Right.
by just hearing the gossip and the
Right.
venting, you know?
Yeah.
Yes,
So I
yeah.
knew that
Yeah.
like you should stay and do certain things. So I get it. But you're right as well as far as the scene is going east because everything inside the loop is shutting down because essentially Montrose is turning into like a different kind of area. It's no longer the artsy,
It's been
cool
gentrified.
area. Yeah. I want to say gentrified. I feel like it's more like there's a lot of money complexes popping up. Basically, you can't afford to live there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I used to live in Montrose and I got pushed out. So like now I'm in the Heights, which I know is not, it's pretty much the same, but I lucked out. I found a really cheap place.
Well, the Heights still has there's two Heights. There's
Yeah.
the ritzier part of the Heights, still the Heights where normal people can afford to live.
I'm on the ritzy side. Like I just found a really good deal on the ritzy side. So I'm
Nice.
surrounded by like people who live in like $800,000 houses and walk their dogs and in constant yoga pants with their babies. Like,
That's a life I want to live. Constant yoga pants.
right?
I feel they're really
That's a
comfortable.
great band name.
And you're the weird neighbors, like, jun, jun, you know, like,
Right.
You hear all these, like, I don't know who lives with her, but there's all these heavy riffs going on.
Like heavy ass riffs coming out of here.
Like our neighbors, like we have an older Caribbean lady who lives next door to us, and she came out the other day, and Sam plays drums in the house all the time. She's like, I hear you. She's like, I don't mind it. I love it. Our neighborhood's okay with loud music.
Right.
Well, yeah, like, so we moved in there, again, a Caribbean family. They have like these huge parties all through the night. Wonderful understanding of we're going to be loud sometimes, and it's okay. I won't call the cops on you.
You don't call the cops on me.
Well,
You
that-
didn't see nothing.
Well, that's the thing, right? So, like, our neighbor likes to throw parties all the time. Like, every weekend there's a party. But the off chances I know before the party, I could do other things that are probably loud to her, but it's kind of like a give and take.
Did they
Yeah.
at least invite you to the parties?
They do actually. They're quite nice
That's
about it.
awesome
I
right
feel
there.
bad, though. I've never been. And
You
it's,
should make an attempt.
I should, but it's like when I'm home, I just want to chill. Like, I'm tired. Like, I'm usually working. I work a lot. So I'm just like, no. But I told myself, I was like, okay, no, I really should go. We've been living here for years now, and they're so nice.
So, Arta's neighbor, if you're listening, keep inviting her. She's not blowing you off. And
I think they know.
It is a lot, though, when you're out running all the time, you know, just to find time to do social things. Plus, you're always so social when you're out playing. It's like, I need time away.
Yeah, I don't socialize as much anymore because the band is, like you said, it is like socializing. So it's when I'm home, I kind of want to just do.
that's why I'm glad I'm not a lead person, like a lead singer, because I don't. I'm
Oh,
not.
yeah.
I'm in my job. I'm social all the time. I teach high school kids, so it's like I'm constantly on. But when we're at a show, I'm like in the back corner when we're not on stage. People are like, "Did Health leave?" No.
Yeah, I didn't know you were still there
Just
last
in-
night.
Yeah, you were like last night. You were like,
Oh,
"Oh, you're
still
still here."
here.
I was like, "I'm not an asshole." Like,
Well, you usually say goodbye, but I just
well,
didn't
see, so
you.
I hadn't left yet. I didn't tell you bye. You know.
But also, one of the cool things that I've noticed in recent years is that you start seeing, you can go to 5 different genre shows in a month and see a lot of the same people. And I think that's been a great thing that, you know, it's like, say we found y'all. I mean, we're a folky rock band, but, you know, we're friends with Brannigan.
Well,
doing
I don't
stuff
know.
with them.
According to certain groups, we're country.
We are a country band now. Yes, yes.
Well,
Which
you
is
know
fun.
how it goes.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
fine.
picks their own genre for you. I've heard a lot of weird things about us, so I don't even care when people say what genre we are.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just kind of cool that, you know, you go out, like say we knew people, like say from Brannigan, that's how we found y'all and things like that. So it's kind of cool. I feel like our community's happening now is way
Pretty
more
eclectic.
Yeah, it's more eclectic. Yeah,
Yeah.
people are just kind of like, are more like, that song was good. It's not like, oh, doesn't matter if I don't really like it, but it's punk rock and like I've got my jacket
Well,
on.
I think so much of it is that we are fortunate that we live in one of the most diverse cities in America,
True.
and so you're automatically, you know, you're more aware and in tune of tons of different cultures, and so when it comes to music, that's the same thing carries over. Is you're like, well, yeah, I love rap, but I also like country, and you do rock songs are great. And have you heard Middle Eastern music? It's amazing, So it's like all these different things, and we're fortunate because of where we're at. I don't think we'd have the same, kind of luck if we were in, the Midwest, and just hanging out
I think
there.
kids are getting exposed to so much different music now.
I think.
Well, what I'm saying is we have the opportunity to see it because of where we're at. Whereas, yes, you can stream whatever you want, but we can go and see it live and experience it that way, which is, I think, way cooler.
I mean, I think we all start out essentially with our parents' record collection or whatever CD collection they had, but the fact that I have a computer in my hands that I can look up anybody literally in 5 seconds now has caused me to be way more eclectic than I was.
Well, yeah,
I listen to everything now.
I left practice the other night, and I was like, we're having this interview with the lead person of Quinn the Brain. I've never heard of him. And Sam's like, here you go, and sends it right to me. And I'm like, oh. And so as I was going to work the other morning, I'm like watching the YouTube video while, I wasn't driving. I was parked on the side of the road. I wanted to make sure if any officers are listening.
But yeah, so it's just cool, man. Then the other good thing I want to bring up was, y'all just got interviewed for the 33 and a third book for Babes in Toyland's Fontanelle, which is super cool.
Yeah, I literally just got it the other day to my house. So I haven't read it yet. Like, I received it and I was like, okay, it's on my list of things to read now.
So I can sit down where I can just absorb the whole thing. So I'm guessing, just from being in the book, that was a pretty influential band.
Yeah, that was like the first band I listened to that it changed things for me. Like what I was saying earlier about like solos and stuff. Because up until then, I was listening to a lot of different things. I liked a lot of 80s hair metal and hard rock and stuff. And I was listening to a lot of that. And then I fell into because that's what, 80s, right? So then I started listening to late 80s and early 90s.
Nice.
And I saw the transition and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I just kind of found, and I'm a girl, obviously. So I was like, I want to listen to females. There's a million guy bands. I always listen to guy bands. I want to hear girl bands. So I started looking into female stuff, which is a little bit smaller. So I just kept digging and digging, and then I found them, and I just thought they were not only cool. It was the first time I listened to a band, and I was like, wow, that's like art. That's like different level. That's not like I'm singing in the shower or it's not poppy. It makes you think. It's like artsy.
Pretty visceral too. Cabby Jones, I think finally showed Kim a video. I was like, she's crazy. It's just, but it was just like the whole point that it wasn't all necessarily melodic song. There was a lot of, in the middle of it, just having little minor rants and things like that. You felt like someone was throwing everything they had inside of them out. Yeah,
it was very cathartic, and I thought that was cool. And
I do think that's like an artistic endeavor. But I was trying to explain to Sam as we were watching it, I was like, I'm almost 50. I never grew up listening to music like that. I didn't hear women expressing their voices that way ever. And so the first time I heard it, I think was probably Faya. I saw Faya open up for a band once, and I was just like, they scream. That's so cool. I mean, I've heard Janis Joplin scream, but not
it's different.
Not like that. Not like Babes in Toyland. Not like now I'm fascinated by it. So
like a crossover song coming? Oh,
no.
Okay. Just asking.
Well, the 90s were good times.
I
I sound like the old, but man, the 90s were great. But it was a time where everyone a lot of stuff that would never cross over into the mainstream did at that weird period.
In the 90s.
I mean, you can go through all these songs that were weird hits. Like, how in the hell did this song ever get radio airplay? And it's a great song, but it's there's no other time before or since where it's some weird band.
They were very experimental, and that's what I liked. So I listened to a lot of bands from that time period because I really they really ran with the no rules thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? They really ran with it. And then I feel like when you're not trying to fit into a box, then you're kind of opening up a door that probably wasn't there before, because I was always hitting that door. I was always like, I can't get past this structure. I can't. And then once I let that go and was like, do whatever you want, then I felt like I tapped into a different realm. You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, I can do this. So I think it just depends on the person and things of that nature.
What led to y'all getting interviewed for the book? Was it?
Oh, that was pure luck. That was just weird, randomness. I was on Facebook, like normal people, I guess. And I saw, I like Babes in Toyland, so I joined a bunch of I joined all the Facebook groups. And if I like your band, past or present, I follow your pages.
Yeah.
And I will see them pop up, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I usually follow all of them on my personal account. And so I had, there was a bunch of groups, and especially after the reunion, it was very active because they had just reunited, and all these fans out of the woodworks came out of nowhere, and they were talking, and some girl came on, and she was like, I'm writing a book. I want to, and she didn't say what it was. She just said, I'm writing a book. You know, would anybody want to be interviewed? Like, or is there any bands that you guys know of that you think sounds like Babes in Toyland or was influenced by them? Basically, she was trying to tie modern times to Babes in Toyland. So I messaged her, not thinking anything of it. I was like, yeah, my band was completely influenced by that band. I love them to death, And I didn't think anything of it. So she sent me like a questionnaire that was like, a page long. And it was just like nice random questions about the music. And I answered them. I honestly didn't think anything of it. And then like 2 years later, she like messaged me randomly, was like, hey, by the way, like, because it wasn't guaranteed you were going to be in the book.
Right.
It was because I'm sure tons of people messaged her. And then she messaged me back and was like, hey, you're actually in the book. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, and it drops like in a week. And I was like, oh. So, and she knew for a while, which is fine. I was even more surprising. So I was like, oh man, how many people can say that they're literally in the book about their favorite band?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it was just a freak accident. Like,
no, that's super cool because, so many people try to like, oh, who are you influenced by? Like, no one. I'm just this all just comes from me.
This is all natural.
And it's always nice when people are able, like, this is the band that got me stoked to play music.
Yeah.
This is I would not be doing this without this band.
Yeah.
I know there's like 2 or 3 bands where you're like, this is the band that made me pick up a guitar. This is the band where I took that left turn and was like, this is what I'm going to do. Where it brought me to where I am now. And then to kind of go in and get to, kind of let people know, like, yeah, man, like this got me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I'd never stray away from those questions. I'm just like, yeah, everyone's influenced by something.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm always like, this is I can tell you exactly what, like, most of this stuff was directly influenced by.
Burt Bacharach. Rest in peace.
That was it. It was all that Burt Bacharach. I was trying to remember what movie he was in.
What the world.
But anyways, it was not, that was before my time.
It's from Austin Powers, dude.
It was Austin Powers he was in. Okay. Yeah, this is quality music podcasting. This is going to be like a Mark Maron episode where it's like, they need to shut the fuck up and let Arta talk.
Pretty much, yeah.
All the Quinn the Brain Fairy will be like, shut the fuck up. No one cares about you.
Those guys just keep running their mouths.
No, there's going to be a lot of this. Like, probably do some legit editing. So, okay, so you got the EP coming up. Y'all have any shows or anything new coming? You got a new drummer you got to break in.
So you have a new drummer? Are you still looking for the new drummer? Ooh, here's the long
need a
answer.
new drummer, but I have a rotation of filler inners. Okay. Not a word either, but people who fill in until we find somebody that who matches, who fits in. So it's a work in progress. Honestly, I've been so busy, I haven't even tried looking. Like it's been, I wouldn't say it. I know I just feel very confident it's going to work itself out. Yeah. It usually does. So I'm just kind of like, all right, well, when we get to that point, we'll cross that bridge.
Well, it's a lot easier too when you're established and you have, of my opinion, like quality music, quality songs that people are going to be like, oh, I want to play in that band. Where instead of you begging someone, you'll have someone who's like, yeah, I really like them. Like, I'd love to play drums for them.
Yeah.
So that makes it a lot easier.
I mean, I would hope so.
That's where you go, like, yeah, you're damn right.
Like, I wanted to be in it until she said I couldn't drink or smoke at practice. I'm out.
Well, to roll back to that, I'll admit, there were times in the pre-pandemic times where basically if we were the closer, it would not always be the best. So we've, since the pandemic, except for Norman, Oklahoma, worked very hard to not drink anything before we get on stage and do.
It is hard when you're the headliner because then by 11, 12 you're playing. So the whole time so what I actually do is I drink early. Like I'll go have a couple drinks and then I will sober up in between because you have hours to kill, right?
Solid.
Exactly. So that's what I do. And it works.
Probably pretty smart.
Because I'm usually good by the time we have to hit. If I'm closing, that's what I'll do. But I've seen tons of bands who, when they close, they're like so shit-faced they can't do anything. Yeah. And you're just like, ooh, poor thing.
You're going to hear about this in the morning.
I think it's more enjoyable. Because I always say it's like versus I'm here playing, I'm having fun versus I always call it piloting the machine where your brain's just going, like looking at your hand, like, hey, hand, we're about to go to C here. We're about to change this chord. And it's like, this sucks. And everyone's like, it sounded great. You'll see videos. It was fine. It was like, there was nothing enjoyable about playing that show.
Because you were too drunk?
Yeah. It was just like, I'm having to concentrate on every movement.
Right.
Instead of just actually, like, I'm not performing. I'm just.
You're just trying to remember the moves.
Right. Yes.
I know exactly what you mean because I actually can't play drunk. Like, let's put aside the fact that, like, professionalism. I just can't do it. We have too many changes in the songs.
Yeah.
And, like, if I mess up, like, it's going to destroy everything. So, like, it's kind of like, I can't. Like,
yeah, you are like the the band leader of your band. There's no other thing to hide behind.
Yeah, there's no second guitar to be like when I mess up, I mess up. It's loud, it's in your face. That part sucks. But
that's the hard part about a 3-piece period.
Yeah.
Because anyone, except the drummer, if they kind of mess up, they go, do-do-do-do.
yeah, they can do like a roll.
Like a crash or something. It's like, I'm fine, I'm back. But being in a 3-piece, any wrong bass hit's just like,
or like, I don't know, being in a 3-piece and playing a C where there's an A minor.
Health makes a lot of mistakes.
That sounds personal.
Right. Sorry to drag you into that.
Well, that's where you got to learn to, like, as soon as you make a mistake, to give like a dirty look to the other band members.
He just looks at me like I messed up. I'm like, oh, thanks.
And
Oh
it's,
my
like, there.
gosh. You guys do that live?
Oh, yeah. We have fun.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But none of us take it seriously.
No.
No, I got you.
It happens. We're human beings. We're making a human
Of course. Who doesn't make mistakes? I feel like it's weird when you're perfect.
Right? It's a human experience.
Yeah.
They will be flawed.
There will be flaws.
Oh, man.
But that's what makes it fun.
Well, do y'all have anything else?
Yeah, I just want to know the name, Quinn the Brain. Where's it come from?
I was watching Daria, like on TV.
Okay.
And my friend had bought me a box set, and I was just sitting there, and I'd been going over band names for a long time, and then when the Brain, the episode came on,
Okay.
and I was eating popcorn, and I was like, that sounds like a cool name, I think. And then I wasn't sure either. I was like, it's either cool or it's not. I can't decide. So I brought it into the band, and they're like, yeah, why not? Let's just do it.
Okay.
And I'm glad. I mean, well, there's perks, right? So a lot of people think my name is Quinn. That part's weird, you know? Because I'll be like, I'm not a narcissist. I don't name myself after the band. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong if you feel like a solo artist, but when you're a
band.
yeah, like it's a little different. And I was like, no. But I don't know. It's worked out really well for us, and I like it.
Well, and a Daria reference is always cool. So.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the show. You know, it was like a spin-off from Beavis and Butthead. And
Yes.
I actually recently rewatched that too. Just like I'm bored, so I've been rewatching old things because I was like, well, nothing new is really working for me, so let me just revisit some old stuff. And so I was just going down like memory lane, and that's what popped up.
Plus, you don't have to worry about there can't be any other band that's like, we're Quinn the Brain as well.
Back, you go check that on.
You're encroaching on our copyright.
Right.
No, I mean, I looked all of that stuff up first. Like, I didn't want to have a war like that because I've had friends who've had multiple band names, and there's a lot of things that come up, like, you know, I mean, if you're in different countries, okay, but territories become a thing, and then it gets weird when you're touring. Yeah. It's a whole thing. Or when you release your Spotify release and you end up on the wrong pages, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like I think Grizzly had to change it to the Grizzly Band because of the band Grizzly Bear.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing, man.
Plus, it seems like that'd be there's a lot of people that have that name.
Grizzly's not no.
But there were a lot of bands. I remember growing up, people had to keep changing names.
Yeah.
And it was always tough because then a few people would know, but then it was like, you're going to be, oh, dude, didn't you used to be in this band? It's like the same band, but they just go up to the lead singer. Weren't you used to be in this band? Well, it's the same band.
Everyone's the same, bro.
Name. Those other dudes are the same dudes? Like, yeah.
Yes. We had to change the name for legal reasons.
You're like, okay, cool. So everybody has to feel really bad.
Good times.
Good times. Well, cool. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about, or do you have anything you would like to promote or anything of that nature?
Oh my gosh, I guess we have nothing going on. Nothing worth talking about yet, or can't spill the beans yet, I guess you can say.
All right. So a lot of secretive things to keep.
I know.
You can always come back and talk to us when you got some new stuff you want to talk about.
Definitely.
That'd be fun.
Drop.
Yes.
So EP this summer.
That's the goal. Don't hold me to it.
It's on wax now. It's on there.
So we're going to...
No, it's fine because I'm pretty sure we're pretty much on target. So I don't see it not happening. So
edit out. You can hold me to it and then just don't. Take out the don't. Hold me to it. See?
you cannot edit me that way.
I didn't sign no agreement.
Right. No, that's great. Well, man, thank you so much for coming. We're really excited because, like I said, when we started doing this on the legal pad sheet, you were one of our first people because we really enjoyed your band. And
thank you. I appreciate that. No, I thought it was cool that you guys are starting a podcast, and I wanted to be part of the beginning process.
Yeah, we're trying to, like I say, we're going to eventually hassle almost everybody we can because
as you should
document the scene. This is like, we don't have the money to be like Discord Records or SST, but damn, we can do a podcast where everyone come and tell their story and what they got started on.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, everyone has a different story, so
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all next time.
Later.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening to this episode of Music in the Minor League. If you like what you heard and want to check out Quinn the Brain, find their website. If you like the podcast, follow us anywhere you can. Tell a friend about it. It really is the best way to get the word out. So that's why we just keep beating that drum and telling y'all that. Again, go out and follow Quinn the Brain. Follow them on Spotify. Follow on Apple Music. Buy records. They've got EPs available on their Bandcamp. The new EP's coming out this summer. So get acclimated with the old stuff and get fired up for the new stuff. Now we're going to leave you with a song from Quinn the Brain. It was also our bumper music. This one is called Bad Friend. Hope you dig it, and we'll see you next time.